Welcome to the Brain Alpha. Let's dive right into a problem that, let's be honest, almost all of us face. Whether you're a student, totally drowning in textbooks, or maybe you're a professional trying to pick up a new skill, there's this constant nagging feeling that you're falling behind. But what if the solution isn't about grinding for more hours? What if it's about making those hours smarter? This is your guide to studying less, but studying way, way smarter.
Okay, so let's frame this. We're all in this massive learning race, right? But for a lot of us, it feels like we're starting with a brutal, almost unfair disadvantage. And that anxiety, that feeling in the pit of your stomach, it usually boils down to one simple, really powerful question.
Students ask this all the time. They feel like they're just lacing up their shoes while everyone else is already miles down the road. It's a feeling of pure panic, and I'm willing to bet you've felt it too. You look around, and it just seems like your peers have been at this forever. So what's the real honest-to-goodness answer? Whoa, okay, hold on. I know that sounds incredibly harsh, but it's not meant to make you just give up. It's really meant to be a dose of hard reality. See, it's too late to compete using the same old methods. It's too late to win by simply trying to outwork people who have this massive head start. You try to do that, you're just gonna burn out. So we need a totally new strategy. And this analogy just nails it, doesn't it? Imagine a marathon. If someone is already 10 kilometers ahead of you, you can't possibly beat them by just running a little bit harder. You'll completely exhaust yourself and you'll still lose. You have to run smarter. You need a completely different, way more efficient approach if you ever want to close that gap. Right. So if just running harder is off the table, we've got to run smarter. And that brings us to our efficiency playbook. Since we can't compete on the sheer quantity of hours we put in, we absolutely have to compete on the quality of our learning. And that requires a huge shift in how we even think about studying. You know, most of us are kind of trapped in that inefficient mindset. We measure our hard work by the clock. Hey, I studied for 6 hours today. But the efficient mindset, it asks a totally different question. How effective were those hours? The goal isn't just to feel productive, right? It's to actually be productive. And to learn how, we're going to turn to someone who mastered this whole idea out of pure necessity. So, meet Gohar Khan. When you're studying at a place like MIT and you're juggling multiple super technical majors, you just don't have time for inefficient methods. He couldn't rely on pulling all-nighters. He literally had to master efficiency just to stay afloat. So what did he do? He developed a system of counterintuitive but scientifically backed study hacks. So let's get right into it. The MIT method. Gohar came up with a bunch of these counterintuitive study hacks. And yeah, some of them might feel a little weird at first, but they are all designed to work with your brain's natural way of learning, not against it. We're going to break down some of the most powerful ones right now. I know, this feels completely wrong. We're all taught to start at page 1 and just plow through. But listen, a textbook isn't a novel. By reading the summary first, you're basically giving your brain a map of the final destination. Then, when you scan the headings and the key text, your brain starts building this mental framework. It's like you understand the context before you ever get lost in the details. Oh man, this one is a huge game changer. Every single time you switch from one type of thinking, like say from memorizing vocabulary to solving a complex math problem, your brain has to totally shift gears. And that context switching, it has a real cost. It can burn 10 to 20 minutes of focus every single time. So instead of doing English, then math, then history, group similar types of tasks. Do all your problem solving together, then do all your reading and writing together. You'll stay in that deep focus flow state for so much longer. We have all lived this. If you have a month to do a project, it takes a month. If that same project is due tomorrow, you somehow get it done overnight. That right there is Parkinson's law in action. But the key is, we can actually flip this little psychological quirk and turn it into a powerful tool for focus. Here's exactly how you do it. If you think an assignment is going to take about 60 minutes, set a timer for 50. That little bit of pressure forces your brain to cut out all the distractions and focus only on what is absolutely essential. You will be amazed at what you can get done when that clock is ticking. This is a psychological trap that gets every single one of us. You know the feeling. You've spent 20 minutes on one single math problem, you're getting absolutely nowhere, but you think, I've already invested so much time, I can't give up now. That's the sunk cost fallacy talking to you. That time is gone. And honestly, spending more of it might be the worst thing you can do. So,
The rule here is simple. The moment you feel truly, properly stuck, drop the problem and move on. You are not a failure for skipping it. You are being strategic. Go get the easy points first. You can always circle back later with a fresh pair of eyes. You don't get extra credit for solving problems in the order they appear on the page.
When it's review time, what do most of us do? We reread the entire chapter. And sure, it feels productive, but it's mostly a waste of time. You're just reinforcing stuff you already know. The real learning, the real growth happens at the very edge of your understanding. So during a lecture or your first read-through, just put a little star next to anything that confuses you. When you go to review, go straight to those stars. That's where you'll see the biggest gains.
So those hacks alone will make you way more efficient. But now we get to the ultimate technique, the one that is at the very core of effective learning. And this isn't just an opinion. This is the single most powerful method backed by over a century of cognitive science. Just think about it for a second. What do you think it is? It's probably not what you're used to doing. It is not highlighting, it is not rereading, and it's not just summarizing. The answer is active recall. It is the act of pulling information out of your brain, not just passively shoving it in. Every time you force your brain to retrieve a memory, you strengthen the neural pathway to that information, making it easier to find the next time. It's literally like doing reps at the gym, but for your brain cells. Highlighting and rereading are passive. They feel easy because they aren't actually building that memory muscle. And if you need proof, just look at the data. In a huge study from 2010, students were split into two groups. Group A used standard methods like rereading. Group B focused on active recall. Basically, they gave themselves little mini-tests. A week later, the active recall group scored a full 30% higher. That is the difference between getting a C and an A, just by changing how they studied, not how long they studied. So, how do you actually do this? It is so simple. The classic flashcard is a perfect active recall tool. You got a question on one side, answer on the other. No peeking. But the second method is even easier. After you read a page or a section, close the book. Then try to summarize the key points out loud or just jot them down, like you were trying to explain it to a friend. This forces your brain to retrieve and process the information, not just recognize it on the page. And there we have it. We've gone from feeling hopelessly behind in a race we feel like we can't win to having a clear, strategic blueprint for success. This is all about taking back control of your own learning. So here it is, your new blueprint. It all starts by shifting your focus from the clock to pure effectiveness. Then you build on that with those sneaky efficiency hacks, like grouping your tasks and using Parkinson's law. But the absolute foundation of it all, active recall. This is how you stop being a victim of your schedule and start being the architect of your own learning. So I'll leave you with this one question. Take a hard look at how you study right now. The rereading, the endless highlighting, getting stuck on problems for way too long. Which one of those old, inefficient habits are you going to fire first? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up, and help us fill the hype. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.